Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be putting some pods on my reverse lights on the truck. Since I got my new taillights, it's been a little hard to see out the camera at night. I'll show you why here real quick. I've got the black housing with the black smoke lens, and where the reverse light goes right there is just black on black. There's no chrome for the light to shine any brighter. And the way that the reverse lights are aimed on these trucks does not do it any justice. So we put some pods on the truck, but I'm gonna try really hard to make them not noticeable from behind the truck. I don't want you to be able to see these little things. So the plan is to mount them to the frame rail a little backwards. So these are the little pods. Just your average Amazon, eBay, cheap, Chinese, whatever. They're bright enough for reverse lights, which is what I'm using them for. I want to mount them on the frame rail about right here, facing down like that. So they'll shine on the ground, they'll clear under the bumper real nice. But when you're behind the truck, you won't be able to see them. And that's what I'm really going for. I want to keep the back of this thing looking clean. I just ran to the store and got some hardware, so I'll go over all the parts that I got and show you guys how everything's going to go on. Alright, so here's all the parts that I have. Of course, the pair of lights, I got the brackets, hardware stuff, all that came with it. But for putting them up on the frame rail where I went and got some new hardware. So there's already some pre-existing holes that I'm looking into using, which I guess I can show you real quick. If you look up under here, it's a little dark, okay. So I'll show you in a minute, but there's pre-existing holes in the frame. So what I'm going to do if this is the frame here, top of the frame, bottom of the frame, and there's that little hole right there, we're going to stick a bolt through there, so the top of the bolt will be inside the frame, and we'll use one of these washers. We'll set it in there at an angle, and then set it flat so that the bolt doesn't come out of that hole, and then we'll use a lock washer. Over here, lock washer, nut, tighten it down, and then we can adjust the pod up and down and it'll stay on the frame. I've done this before on multiple different things and it works really, really well. So that's what we're going to do with these little lights. So just so you guys know what size hardware to get, I've got, there we go. I've got some 3/8 washers, which these are pretty decent sized washers, so those should be wide enough that they'll stop the bolt from falling through the frame hole, but small enough that I'll be able to set them up in there. And then my bolt, 2 of them here, they came separately packaged, 1/4 inch by 1 inch length. The thread size, like fine thread, coarse thread, whatever, doesn't really matter. This just happened to be what I grabbed, but the 1/4 inch by 1 inch, and then of course the 1/4 inch nuts, 1/4 inch lock washers, and it should all bolt up there real nice. I'll have a camera set up underneath the truck while I'm putting it all on. I'll get it all lit up, and then we'll go over the wiring, test them out. Should be good to go. Alright, so ignore this mess of uncut zip ties that I got going on here, but this hole right here is the hole in the frame that we're going to use. So I've got my bolt and big washer here, and if you look, when they're flat, the washer doesn't fit through the hole. But if you take the washer, you go at a little bit of an angle, slip one side in before the other, sits right up in there, and then we're going to take the bracket, which I hope I didn't leave too far away. Okay, we got our bracket here. So next we take the bracket and we're going to put it this way, set it right up on there. We're going to take our lock washer, And then our nut here. Tighten that down. And another thing that's worth mentioning is usually, of course, you need to hold both sides. You need to hold the top of the bolt while you're tightening the nut, which you would think would make this not possible. However, when you're using a lock washer, you'll find you can just tighten it from one end, and it'll tighten down nice and tight for you. And the other end won't be spinning because of the pressure that the lock washer puts on it. So that's just finger tight right there. And we'll go get the light. We'll stick the light, we'll tighten this down first. And then we'll stick the light on here. And then we'll keep going from there. Alright, so putting the light on here is going to be a little tricky because what you got to do is inside of here there's these two little grooves, so you have to put the nuts in here first and then slide the bolt through the side with the bracket there, which is fine because I have to be holding the light this way to have the nuts held in. However, I'm not going to be able to see them. So we're going to just kind of go off of faith here and see what happens. There, now we got that thing mounted. Just gonna aim it about like that. And there we go, we got that thing all mounted up. Now for my wiring, I have a power wire run up here that connects to the battery because I have my train horn compressor back here. So I'm going to be able to tap into this with my wiring kit. I bought an off-road light wiring kit with these, so I'll still go over everything while I'm doing it, but the battery wire will be connected to that wire up here, and the switch wire, the one that turns these on and off, will run up here through the bed and to the reverse light wire. So when the reverse lights kick on, these will turn on, and when the reverse lights turn off, these will turn off. It should light up the ground nicely, and that'll be everything that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the other side on, and then we'll get started on wiring. The other side will be the exact same as this one. So the wiring harness that I bought is from Mick Tuning. I just got it off of Amazon. These are like $8, and they have Prime shipping, and they work. They're really good. It comes with a couple extra fuses. It comes with these connectors for you to put on the lights, and on the other end of the wires, it's got the part that these just basically slide onto. So this harness is set up for 2 off-road lights, so if both of these pods have a place to go, I won't have to modify the harness at all. For that part anyways. So if you don't know how these work, there's this automotive relay right there. I'll get a better hold on my camera. Anyways, automotive relay here. and it has this nice waterproof connector on it with all your wires. And I mean, you could save a couple bucks if you wire this all up yourself, but it's really not worth it. As cheap as these things are, and it's got all the nice coating on the wires. It's got inline fuse here. It's got the nice terminal ends on your power and ground wires if you're hooking it up to your battery. It's really not worth building your own. You honestly just buy one of these. But the way these work, the red wire that has your fuse and this ring connect to your battery. Battery positive, I should say. This black wire with the other ring on it connects to ground, just anywhere. Doesn't really matter as long as it's a good ground. And then on the other end of your wires here, it's got positive and negative for light 1, and a little further down, positive and negative for light 2. And it comes with this crappy little push button switch, which you can disconnect. I always just cut the wires right there. You got your red, black, and white. I always just cut the wires there and put my own switch, which for this one, we're going to not use the red wire at all because our switch is not going to have a light on it, because it's just going to be the reverse lights. So we're going to scrap the red wire. White wire will connect to reverse light positive on the truck. Black wire will connect to the ground via that terminal over there, so we won't have to do much with that. But anyways, reverse light positive, reverse light negative. Should be good to go. And then we'll test it all up. But like I said, I'll walk you through the whole thing. I'm not just going to say, here's what you do, and then, oh, it's done. So I'll get back under the truck and get this stuff started. Alright guys, so I started doing the wiring and talking and all this stuff, realized my camera wasn't recording. So let me talk you through kind of what I got going on. I took all the wire looms off of all my wires, so it looks like a mess right now. But this way I can kind of explain what's going on. So there's this nut right here that sticks off of the frame. That's a factory piece of hardware. That's where I tied in my ground wire, which I already had grounded for the solenoid on my train horns. So I tapped into that wire here for my relay. So it's grounded up to right there. So I mean, there's a ground right next to this light. Then, like I said, I already had a power wire run, so I removed my fuse so that I don't short anything out, and connected to my power wire here. And like I said, all this has wire looms that cover it. I just took it off for the sake of the video so you can kind of see what's going on. So this wire runs up to my battery up along the frame. And then this wire goes down to the fuse to the relay. Then all this relay wires here come around, come up, and connect to the light here. Cover up. There we go. Using the connectors that came in the kit, just connect to the light. And then next, I'm going to take the switch wire, and I should be able to run it up through here where the factory reverse light wires go. But honestly, I could probably tag into here if I knew the colors, because they all come down through here, but I don't, so we got to get back up into the taillight, which means we'll have to move the truck forwards a little bit because I'm right up against the garage wall here. And then we'll go from there. After I do that, I should be able to plug the fuse back in and it should all work. Also, a side note on the other side, when I went to put my light on, realized I can't do that because the old exhaust is in the way. If you didn't have your factory resonator on your truck, or I guess maybe if you didn't have the single exhaust, maybe the duals you could do it. Probably not. I think it runs the same way, just on both sides. But since I have the single exhaust, this side over here is all opened up, so I'm just going to run with one light and hopefully it'll be enough. If not, I'll be able to update you guys on that. And if you wanted, on this bar here, you could get a round light bar mount and get a little 8-inch bar. and put your 8-inch bar on here, hanging just right in front of your diff, and then leave some slack in your wires because this is a moving part. So you'll have to look up your suspension travel, leave that much wiring hanging out so that it'll move, which you could run your wiring along the factory hoses here, or along your brake lines. That's a good place to run wires because this part moves. Ooh, refocus, there we go. So you can have your lights mounted up on this bar. The wiring process will be the same. The mounting process would be a little bit more self-explanatory because you wouldn't have to use this hole in the frame. But anyways, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna tag into the reverse lights, test this bad boy out, clean up my wires, then we're good to go. So the tail lights are off and we've got the reverse light bulb pulled out, and you can see I've got LEDs in here and they're fairly bright, but just with the black on black housings, they don't light up anything at all. So if you look at the wires here, there's a white with a brown stripe and a black. The white with brown stripe is your positive. So we're going to tap into that to activate the pod we put underneath. So what I did is this button right here. I just went ahead and cut it off. And I stripped back the wires. The red, if it's connected to the harness, has power. The black connected to the harness is ground. We don't need either of those because our switch is just the reverse lights turning on. So we just need this yellow wire that'll send power from the reverse lights to the relay telling it to turn the pod on. So we strip this yellow wire back, and this yellow wire will attach right here. We'll run this clip down through the truck and we'll clip it right back into the harness. We'll test it all out. There we go. We got the lights up. We got them all tested. I put wire looms over all the wires, put some zip ties on it, and I actually cut the ends of them this time. So we're all set. We're all good to go. Kind of disappointed that I couldn't put more than one on there, but I mean, it's fine. It's a drastic improvement over what I could see before. Because I think, yeah, I can't see it much during the day. When I was in the garage, you could see the light on the ground pretty well, and it already made a big improvement on what I could see with the backup camera, which is all I was going for. So this is a pretty good install. Total cost for this, I think it was $15 for the pair of pods, $8 for the wiring harness, and probably $2 or $3 for the extra hardware and the zip ties, blah blah blah. So I mean, less than $30 you can get this whole thing done, and I mean, I think it's worth it. I would do it 10 times out of 10 with these dark taillight lenses that I have. Anyways, hopefully this was helpful to some of you guys. If nothing else, it was fun to just hang out and work on the truck. I know you guys weren't here with me, but I know it's fun. Like, even if you don't sit down and do the work yourself, it's fun to watch people work on cars. It's fun to just kind of live vicariously through somebody, I guess. So if you do this to your own truck, I think you'll be happy with it. If nothing else, it's not visible at all through the back. So if you don't love it, you could take it off. You don't have to do any drilling, like, at all, which is really nice. The only modification you'll do with your factory wires, I guess, is you'll have to splice into your reverse light wire, and you'll have to run a power wire from your battery back. But that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully have something else to do in the next few days. Stay tuned for that. I'm not going to give away any secrets. But I'll try to space out the videos a little bit more instead of posting one after the other like I did with this one. So that way there's a little bit more content over more time instead of here's a video, here's a video, here's a video, and then silent for a long time. So we'll try to plan on doing that. Hopefully I'll get together with some truck guys here in the next few days and we'll get some mudding done. I'll make some videos on that. And let's have a good end of the year. So again, thanks guys for watching. Subscribe, share it with your friends, and like I said, we're back.